I don't see that any services have been cut. They are against this Trevor Project, I guess, that has been operating this particular silo, but you can still call the thing and
But a service is being cut. A specific service where
you can literally call the 988 hotline.
Where if you're LGBTQ, you don't get then transferred to someone who, let me finish, to someone.
You interrupted me, but go ahead.
To someone who
and
is
it's your favorite
a
thing
member
to interrupt me and then say I'm interrupting you. Go ahead.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Second Take, where we keep up with CNN so you don't have to. In today's episode, we're revisiting Scott Jennings, who appeared on Saturday for CNN's Table for Five. During the segment, Scott Jennings and the panel examined how Democrat politicians masquerade as activists to capture attention, often getting arrested and then claiming victimhood. Plus, there was some chatter about Trump allegedly targeting the LGBT community with, well, I'm not entirely sure, just watch and you can feel my frustration with me. Now, let's dive in, as Scott Jennings expertly dismantles a panel of self-assured CNN liberals who mistakenly believe performative protests equate to effective governance. Here we go.
In the aftermath, Homeland Security is now changing its rules, asking lawmakers to give 72 hours notice before visiting detention centers. All right, since you didn't get a word in last segment, it is to you. What do you see happening here? Democrats say, look, they are emotional, they are fed up, and they are going out and putting themselves in between ICE and some of the immigrants or making statements. Do you think it's political theater? Or do you think, hey, this is something that they're really serious about and they want the public to see them out leading the charge?
Well, I agree with some of that. They are emotional, and the last part, they do want the public to see, but what they're doing is clearly creating stunts. These are political stunts. I mean, this is designed to it's just sort of like porn for their base. There's a lot of capital right now in the Democratic Party for getting arrested. In the case of Padilla, who if you handed me $10 million right now, if I could pick him out of a lineup, I don't think I could do it. Charging into a press conference, lunging towards a stage. I mean, I'm sorry, but screaming that I'm a senator, I'm a senator. I don't know who you are. I still don't know who the guy is. And so that's not good enough. He's a U.S. senator. If he wanted a meeting with her, he could have had one. And he did get one as soon as it was over with. I find it curious he had a staffer posted up in there to film the whole thing. These are clearly stunts. The guy who went to lock arms and interfere with the detention of an illegal in New York City. I mean, the energy in the Democratic Party right now is around doing everything they can do to protect the illegal immigrant populations in the United States, which is still baffling to me. But more than anything, the theater kids have taken over. And they are desperate to create theater, and that's all it is. It is not serious to try to lunge at the Homeland Security Secretary in a press conference and expect any, reasonable outcome.
He was in a government building, a federal government building. He is one of two senators in California. I think Mitch McConnell would be recognized throughout Kentucky. Alex Padilla was in his home state in a federal building. And the thing that concerned me the most was not necessarily that part, which was already concerning, but when ICE tweeted it, ICE clearly said that he did not identify himself and tweeted a video where he clearly did. What kind of confidence should we have in our government with any communication from the Trump administration going forward? Do you think that was correct?
Do you think running into a press conference and lunging at the speaker
and saying Senator Alex Padilla
in this environment is the way you get a communication with the federal government? I mean, it's crazy.
Let me just, the kids in the neighborhood where I'm raising my family, the nannies are being snatched away and the babies are being put in police cars for 4 hours. That's horrible. I didn't know about this doxing, and that's horrible too. So there's a lot of bad stuff that's happening. The doxing should not be happening, but what's happening is those masks are terrifying people. But I wasn't aware of the doxing.
Well, I don't disagree with you about masks being all the protests that are happening, the Free Palestine people who have now converted into the pro-Iranian regime people. A lot of them wear masks out there. We don't seem to be exercised about that. But in the case of these law enforcement who are being doxxed, and they're only being doxxed for one reason, because they want people to come along and do something terrible to them.
I'm from a law enforcement family, and I'm against that. And by the way, the Urban League is standing up against these mass protesters.
All right, let's dive into the antics of Alex, Jose Padilla, and their fellow Democratic politicians, shall we? They're not just getting arrested for protests as a bit of theater. This is a revealing look into their mindset, their core beliefs, and the blatant disregard they have for the average American. These folks aren't activists, they're elitists playing pretend, acting outrage just to stir up the crowd, well aware that they'll never face any repercussions. Why, you ask? Because they're part of the political elite, a privileged group where it's rules for thee, not for me. The one outlier? If you're Donald Trump, they'll concoct charges out of thin air and throw the book at you. At the same time, Democratic lawmakers are out there hijacking press conferences and obstructing ICE operations like it's performance art. And why wouldn't they? Their party cheers them on and even spurs them to do it. But here's the crux of what I'm saying. Their actions aren't driven by genuine concern. They're orchestrating these moves to stir up chaos, manipulating ordinary Americans to react, to get angry, and to protest, knowing full well that regular folks will bear the brunt of any blowback. They use their supporters like chess pieces for personal gain and power. That's not leadership, it's pure disdain. Let's get back to it.
About 1.3 million were sent to the specialized crisis counselors for LGBTQ youth. And I guess the question is, why do this to a population who has a very long history of having more suicides than the general population? First to you.
Well, a couple things. Number one, as you pointed out, the hotline, the 988 service still exists.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, the only thing happening here is that they're cutting ties with this group, the Trevor Project, which a lot of conservatives have problems with because of the way they handle some of their interactions with youth who call them and the ideology that they push out. And
So you're admitting it's political?
I'm admitting that what they did is cut ties with the Trevor Project and keep the 988 service open so anyone can call that. So I don't see that any services have been cut. They are against this Trevor Project, I guess, that has been operating this particular silo, but you can still call the thing and
But a service is being cut. A specific service
No,
where
you can literally call the 988 hotline.
Where if you're LGBTQ, you don't get then transferred to someone who. Let me finish. To someone.
You interrupted me, but go ahead.
To someone who
And
is
it's your favorite
a
thing
member
to interrupt me and then say I'm interrupting you. But go ahead.
who is a member of the community and can speak to these issues to a group of people who are disenfranchised, in many cases ashamed, and don't feel comfortable talking about their depression, their suicide, their sexuality, to their parents, to their friends, to their teachers. This was a lifeline for a very specific group of people who have very few people. If I called in, I could talk to basically anyone, that's true. But this is a group of people who needs a certain kind of advisor and counselor to understand the unique problems that they are confronting. And so this just feels cruel and, as you said, political.
I included that last part of the chatter because I want to dive into what she brought up. If LGBTQ youth genuinely require tailored counseling, then maybe she has a valid criticism of the administration. I'm not a psychologist, so I wonder, why would someone need special help? Is it because they're extraordinary like a celebrity might be? Sure, at times people are treated differently if they belong to a distinctive group, but I doubt that's her point. She wasn't implying that LGBTQ youth are privileged. She suggested they couldn't receive counseling from a standard crisis counselor like the rest. This is where things start to get peculiar because another reason for needing specialized help could be a mental impairment or disability, which would logically require specific training. Although some claim part of the LGBTQ community faces mental health issues, no legitimate medical publication has declared that openly, so that isn't her argument. So honestly, and correct me in the comments if I'm mistaken, the only inference I draw is either she believes LGBTQ people should have more access than others just to flaunt her ally status, or she secretly thinks they have a condition needing special treatment, yet she won't say it because her peers would brand her as a transphobe bigot. Either way, her logic crumbles under identity politics. If she wants to advocate for specific mental health support, just be upfront about it. Don't twist identity politics to clamor for more access while branding others as bigots. And certainly don't pretend a staged arrest and scripted outrage or a grassroots revolution. Because, like most of you watching and myself, the American public is waking up and refusing to be fooled anymore. We all see the act and grasp the performance. But share your thoughts in the comments on these pseudo-activist politicians and whatever LGBTQ issue they just mentioned. So that's a wrap for this video. I've been asking everyone to like, subscribe, and all that jazz for a vigorous push through the end of July to support the channel. If you regularly tune into my channel, you know I don't usually request likes and subscriptions in every video. Any support is hugely appreciated, and as always, thanks for sparing a few minutes of your day to watch my video. It genuinely means a lot and helps support the channel. Remember, Jesus loves you. See you all next time.